Righty-ho, art nerds! I've got a very simple, very basic little watercolor demonstration today. We're going to demonstrate why, A, you shouldn't apply your watercolor just directly to your paper. You shouldn't paint with it thickly the way you would paint with, say, acrylic paint. We're also going to demonstrate today why, how certain colors will sort of separate out as you add water. So you're going to want a clean cup of water, and this is not a clean cup of water, so I'll be right back. Clean cup of water acquired. So I am going to start with some tube paints. These are Daniel Smith paints that I've got here, and this is Undersea green. So I'm going to uncap it and just sort of dot it onto the paper. Then we're going to take a look at Lunar black. Going to do pretty much the same thing. Dot it onto the paper. And then we're going to grab burnt sienna. And we're going to do that as well. If it doesn't drip everywhere, do that as well. So these are our three watercolor dots. The top two don't really look different from one another. You couldn't tell that one is a green and one is a black. The bottom one looks very opaque. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a clean brush. We're going to grab some of this paint here. I'm actually just going to mix it here because I want to get a mass tone. So very saturated block of color. Alright, that is Undersea green. I'm going to grab some Lunar black. And then we're going to grab some burnt sienna. And my goal here is to make these colors as saturated as possible so you get as even a tone as possible. Alright, that's burnt sienna. So this is what I would be looking for if I'm just swatching colors for my later reference. So, sort of like this color map we made in an earlier video. But with colors like these, there's actually a lot of variety inside each individual color. So we're going to grab Undersea green. Then we're going to grab Lunar black. And then we're going to grab burnt sienna. And I might have to grab a little more burnt sienna. So as you guys can see, while they're still the same color, there's a lot of difference in what you can get with the tone, especially with Lunar black. Now if we had just applied it thickly like we would with an acrylic paint, straight from the tube, straight onto the paper, no water, no washing, we wouldn't get all this neat sedimentation that we're getting with Lunar black. That's one of the nice things about Lunar black specifically, is that it separates out like this. Undersea green also separates out. It separates out into a green and into a blue, with the blue kind of settling into the valleys of the paper. And you wouldn't be able to tell that as obviously if we hadn't added some water. So I want to show you guys some other colors that have a lot of variation when you add water. So one of the first ones we're going to start with is New Gamboge. Now, New Gamboge is this one here. It doesn't really look that impressive in the pan. Add some water to it, get it activated. So, this is New Gamboge kind of at full strength. Now, we're going to wash it out. As you guys can see, we go from a sort of orangish gold color, and then as it becomes diluted, it gets brighter and brighter. So New Gamboge actually has a lot of range in color. Another color that shades like this, and fountain pen people are probably familiar with this phenomenon, and I'm sure more experienced watercolorists are as well, but this can be a really exciting thing to play with if you're not familiar with it, is Winsor Newton Green Gold. Which is down here at the bottom. Then we're going to do the same thing that we did with New Gamboge. As you see, as the color becomes less saturated, it becomes almost fluorescent, and it's a very bright green gold, almost a yellow, and I love this color for painting foliage. There's a lot of variation there. Let's explore some other colors that have this sort of variety. I'm going to grab some SoHo Urban Blue Violet, and this is one of my favorite colors. Paint a little square up there, and then of course some of you who are watching this might be thinking, oh, that's not really that impressive. Everybody knows that as you add more water, a color gets lighter. But with colors like this, Urban Blue Violet in its mass tone really is a blue violet. Whereas once it's become a tone and it's had a lot of water added to it, it's like a lovely sky blue. It's a very useful blue in the sort of painting I do. Then we're going to grab some Indian Yellow. This is SoHo Indian Yellow. And this is a lot like New Gamboge in that, and mine is dirty, in its mass tone, it's actually kind of more of an orange color. I'm going to go clean out my water, and I'm going to grab some more, and we're just going to do the same thing. And it becomes a really lovely, warm, lighter, sunny yellow as it desaturates, as you add more water to it. And another color that does that is Mijello Mission Gold Undersea Blue, or Marine Blue. So I've got some here. And in its mass tone, it's a decent sort of cool blue-green blue. Apologize for that. And then as you add water and it kind of desaturates, you get a lot of range of color. Kind of a nice kind of pool blue. And then I also noticed that permanent mauve is one of those colors that gets kind of weird. So here is the mass tone. So basically full saturation. Full saturation with water added, I should say, which is how watercolors are designed to be used, is with water added, not necessarily full saturation. And this color, as it dries, can get kind of weird. I will show you guys. So, that is Permanent Mauve from the wash tutorial. This is the same exact color, same Permanent Mauve from the gradation tutorial. Very, very pink. Almost a different color. And then the Quinacridones can be really neat in this regard too. I have the old Quinn Gold, the old Daniel Smith Quinn Gold, sent to me by Gamboge. So it's like a nice solid yellow ochre kind of gold, right? And it shades from like a lion gold, sort of a brown gold, to a much lighter yellow ochre. I mean, with most of these colors, you're not going to get such a dramatic shift in color. I think Undersea Green is kind of the only one that has a lot of drama that I own. I know some of the other Daniel Smith colors have a lot of drama as well. And finally, Mijello Opera Rose. I know SoHo Opera Rose really does this, but Mijello Opera Rose is also one of those colors that can shift. I didn't add enough water, but it's one of those colors that can kind of shift dramatically as you add a lot of water. So this is one of the reasons why when artists are swatching new colors, they go from mass tone to a lighter tone with water added, a desaturated lighter tone, to see what sort of variation the watercolors hold in store for them, and to see if there's any sort of neat, unexpected surprises that come from adding additional water. It's always good to be prepared. You don't want this to happen to you guys necessarily unexpected. Sometimes that can be a happy accident. Sometimes that can ruin the entire piece. But if you know it's going to do these things, then you can utilize it and use it to the best effect. So that would be why artists will do a variety of different kinds of swatching depending on what they're trying to do. If they're just making a color map to know what colors are where in their palette, very basic mass tones. But if you're exploring the properties of a palette, you're going to want to go from saturated to desaturated, full strength color to watered down color. That way you can see what your colors have in store. So I hope this was helpful, useful, and informative for you guys. I hope I introduced you guys to some beautiful new to you, maybe, colors. A lot of these are SoHo, and SoHo's gotten kind of a bad rap, but I've had nothing but decent experiences with everything but their ultramarine. Their ultramarine is terrible. Most of their colors are great. And I hope you guys maybe learned something today. I don't know. Maybe it's that kind of day. If you enjoyed this video, head on over to nattosoup.blogspot.com and check out my Watercolor Basics free watercolor course. I take you from the very beginning, walk you through all the materials, and walk you through multiple techniques to get you ready to watercolor. So I hope you're excited about that. And then when you're done with that, you can head on back to this channel and check out some of my other watercolor tutorials here on the channel. So I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, guys!